GJRB online on Spreaker across America. Welcome back. Got another great bunch of stuff to talk about this afternoon here on our show. Way out there on GJRB online. If you want to be part of the program, we're going to leave it open because coming up after 4:30, about 4:35 or so, we're going to leave it open for you. I'm going to kind of move things around, and it's going to be freestyle for the last, let's say 45, 50 minutes. 55 minutes. 55 minutes of nonstop talk. So we're going to do in our last hour of Way Out There here on GJRB. So hang in there. It's going to be coming up. You're going to want to join in. We got a lot of good things to talk about. And we're going to continue with part 2 on that strange but true story about the astronauts of Apollo 10. Now, before we took the break, these guys were in space orbiting the moon. They found a strange, I don't know what to explain, a unusual radio sounds coming out of their ship's radio. Don't know where they were coming from. They were strange sounds they could not explain. And coming up in our last 55 minutes, I'm going to be playing that piece, and I'm going to try to fit in between there. We're going to start that little story as we go into Linda Moulton House Earth Files. I'm going to start that one, and that will continue on the next Way Out There on March 18th. So just to let you know how we're going to do that. Now, but for right now, though, I thought we'd just kind of take a break from all that real quick, and then we're going to kind of waste about 11 minutes because we're way overdue for let's scroll through social media. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, to scroll through social media. We haven't done that yet, but going through it, playing around with it, see what everybody's out there today. Listening to Way Out There, our strange show. I'm going to go through and scan the Facebook page, find some interesting stories for you. And looking down the line, some really neat pictures. Someone posted their flight to Salt Lake City, Utah. Somebody's taking a flight, and this is Steve Cruz, Kristen Cruz. They're going to Salt Lake City. What a sight! Coming out of their, taking out of their plane window. Incredible. All right, let's go down the page a little bit, see what else we got coming on here. I'm going to go through some news stories, see if we can find something interesting to talk about. And maybe we'll find some strange but true stories. Going to go down the ways. Let's see, we got neat story here. Let me see, we got... okay. Mike Dick. Well, yeah. Mike Dick, another one that doesn't like Obama. He, let's say, the worst president. I agree with him. But, let's see. Here we go. Signs from the heavens. A supermoon eclipse an asteroid on the same day? What? Okay, here we go. Signs there. Supermoon eclipse and an asteroid all in the same day. Now, you know there's going to be a solar eclipse, but apparently we are not going to be able to see it. This is going to be in Australia. So asteroid, but first let's start with March 8th, which is just about 3 or 4 days away. March 8th, asteroid TX68 and a 30-meter long lump of space rock is due to whistle past Earth at a close proximity of 19,000 miles. That's the reason why I kind of picked this show to do today, because I wanted to talk about this asteroid. Yeah, this is wow. Oh boy. This is weird. 19,000 miles, but there's some doom mongers out there who are saying that it could hit us. they won't be able to see it because it is to be obscured by the sun. Looming event has been set online. Doomsday predictions are in a frenzy, particularly as NASA admits is an uncertain orbital path has been given, and the estimates are close to 19,000 miles away, as far as 11 million miles. U.S. agency has also changed the day of the pass, with the initial date being given as tomorrow, March 5th. Now, NASA says it will be on Tuesday, March 8th, certainly over the pass, coupled with the fact that some online doomongers are predicting that the asteroid would smash into Earth on March 2016. Several months ago, they predicted this. Several months ago. Yeah. They predicted this several months ago. Conspiracy theorists are shocking to see this now. They're going down the ways. I'm going to go down the page here. Okay, they're saying it's going to happen on Tuesday, March 8th. Self-styled internet prophets released videos several months ago warning that the asteroid, or given a mythological rogue planet called Nibiru or Planet X, would strike Earth on March 2016. Kind of like that movie, When Worlds Collide. Great science fiction movie. Ever get a chance to watch it? It's been years. I want to try to find that on Roku. When Worlds Collide. This was reminds me of it. Planet X, they say, could strike Earth on March 2016 and could spell the end of the world. Okay, here we go at the prophet names there. ExpressCO.uk found several on YouTube videos released about 6 months ago. 6 months or more ago, before there was also a widespread talk of asteroid TX68 cosmic close shave. Well, you know, they predict this how many times now? Really? I mean, is this new? Not really. Although I gotta say that if you're gonna sit there and predict this Armageddon thing, I think that a lot of times these guys do that to cause a panic. You know, these are the guys who, you know, the elite. This is all that little thing, you know, with the, you know, what do they call that, martial law. Yeah. Anyway, the story goes on here. I'm going to see if I can find that piece here. They're saying, I want to go back here on the page a little bit because I'm trying to figure out what. On March 8th, you know, you have to wonder, okay, now I'm going to say March 8th. March 8th. From now until March 8th, tomorrow's March 5th, they predicted it too. See what happens. Let's do a let's see here. These doomsayers want to have fun with us. Let's do a let's say here. Let's say this happens. Okay. All right. What are you going to do about it? Is there anything you can do about it? I mean, really. Possibility that this could happen. But how possible is it? The title of the article is 4 Days Left. And you have to wonder here, folks. I'm going to be watching this closely for the next few days. I'm going to be watching the whole thing. I want to see what news reports come out. And I'm going to keep following this. And we're going to see if we can do, because next Friday, I'm going to be doing Smooth Jazz, Smooth Afternoon. Live starting at 12 o'clock next Friday. Next Friday, here on GJRB Online, will be Smooth Jazz, Smooth Afternoon. And we're going to see if we're going to be doing it or not. Okay? We're going to see if we're going to be doing it or not. Are we going to do that Smooth Jazz, Smooth Afternoon, or do you think it's going to happen? Question remains. Is it going to happen? Mm-hmm. Okay, you have to wonder about that now. Okay, you think that we're going to have a collision such as the one depicted in the motion picture When Worlds Collide? Great movie if you ever get a chance to watch that. It is a classic film. Very well acted out. I like that movie. I've seen it years and years ago when it ran on syndicated TV, and it has to be one of the best. Really does. I love this film. So, I mean, you're going to have to check this out. It's a real good movie called When Worlds Collide. Great science fiction film. And if you ever have a chance to see that movie, it depicts a star first and then a planet. And what happens in the movie is this star that they discover turns out to be a planet that's inhabitable. And they build a rocket, send their people to this planet. Real good movie. Tremendous film. Well produced for special effects fabulous for that year in that kind of motion picture. So stay tuned. We're going to talk more about this. Way Out There continues on GJRB in moments. Stand by. Whether it's baseball, basketball, hockey, even bowling, it's covered on Gary J's sports page. I'll talk about what's going on in the world of sports all over the USA. We'll read you interesting articles about the players and even keep up with the scores of the games going on live. I'll even have guests from time to time and just talk sports. Better than any newspaper page, it comes alive. Gary J's sports page, alternating Saturdays at 2 o'clock Central on GJRB Online. Imagine one day tuning around on your internet radio only to find a station playing old radio programs complete with commercials and thinking, what am I tuning into? The past? You might be, or it's just GJRB Online and Radioland. A day of nothing but classic radio shows back to back with classic commercials in between. Like the days of radio. Almost like your computer is picking up signals through time. Closer than you'll ever get to time travel. Radioland.
If you're a new emerging artist and want your songs out there, the place to go is Reverb Nation. Reverb Nation, a website purely devoted to new music from new artists from every town and every state in the U.S. If you're a solo artist and recording your own music, it's Reverb Nation. Stop on by, visit, listen to the music, check out the site, www.reverbnation.com. Put your music out there and gain an audience. Go to Reverb Nation for the best in new music. And remember, if you like your songs played on GJRB Online's Up and Coming, drop me an email at GaryJ65@yahoo.com. And I'll be playing your song on all GJRB Online shows. Remember the name, Reverb Nation.
It's that time of year once again, spring. A time when the weather gets warm and the flowers bloom, and GJRB is starting new programs and bringing back older ones that haven't been on for a while. It's the GJRB Spring Spectacular. All new programs and old ones returning, like Radioland, Gary J's Radio and Television Classics under a new name. Radio, television, and movie classics, featuring not just radio and television broadcast rarities, but also intermissions from drive-in movie theaters and indoor theaters too. Old movie trailers and movie trivia. The Spring Spectacular will also mean the return of the blues with Gary J's Blues House and country bluegrass with Bluegrass Jubilee. New additions to the Gary Russell program, including The Man on the Street, as I take my voice recorder to the streets of Clinton and ask people their opinions on what's going on in the news and lighter fun stuff. GJRB Spring Spectacular starts April 19th on GJRB Online.
That sound more like everyone else than anyone else.
Hey, all right, it's Kip Casper.
Spreaker is the website which turns anyone into a radio DJ. Log on to Spreaker.com for listening to thousands of radio channels and start creating your own radio today.
On the air here on Way Out There on GJRB Online on Spreaker on a Friday afternoon here all over across America and around the world. We're doing something we call Way Out There, the strange, the bizarre, the unusual, just the things that why somehow just can't explain for some reason. Why you want to explain it or anything else. Sometimes we just have doom and gloom, and sometimes I even just talk about unusual stuff. And sometimes I just kind of break away from that and talk about different things like trivia and classic TV shows and different things like that, or kind of talk about what's in the news and like the debates. What do you think of the debate? I didn't listen to it. I really kind of getting tired of the political stuff, because, anymore it's just like mudslinging. It's I don't know. I just get tired of it. Really. Coming up, 55 minutes of non-stop talk as we finish up our Way Out There show for today here on GJRB Online. Our last 55 minutes of almost any show here on GJRB. Gary Russell program. We do this on a Freestyle Friday. Sometimes I do that on this show, Sports Page once in a while. All my talk shows, the only three I have are this one, the Gary Russell program, of course, the main one. It's our first show, the original. It's a GJRB original, the Gary Russell program. And, of course, Gary J Sports Page is what I call You know how some stations have 55 minutes of non-stop music. You know, well, you know, you have to slam it with commercials, and they give you that like 30 minutes. It used to be back in the day when I was started listening to radio. I wanted to be a disc jockey. I remember listening to like Pittsburgh radio, and they used to have these like solid 7 minutes of non-stop music. You know, so I thought, well, you know, why not talk radio? Yeah, why not when we do our talk show? You know, why not just have total non-stop talk? Like Paul Harvey would say, you've heard the news. Now it's time to hear the rest of the story. And I thought, well, you know, sometimes let's skip that 5 o'clock news. You know, we don't need it. I mean, we've heard it already. It's old hat, and it's Freestyle Friday, so that means 55 minutes of total non-stop talk. I'm just going to go back to back to back here, and I'm going to find me some audience while I'm doing it. And it just makes it much more fun. And I'm going to post on my Facebook page right here that you're welcome to join the show. The widget's available there, and I was going to go ahead and just say that on there. And then what I do is I go into the my thing on here where you can spread the show around and see who's out there. And then I go into my main page on my Spreaker site. We're going to scroll through Twitter a little bit later on, too. And we're going to do that. But meanwhile, let's continue on with that story. On with that story about the Apollo 10 astronauts. We left them just coming around the moon as they were orbiting. They talked back to Mission Control, and they asked, how do you explain this noise? Now, what do we tell do we report this or what? Should we report this or what? You know, should we report this? What do you think? Should they report this strange noise that was coming out of their ship's radio? You know, would it be a good idea? Or is it a government cover-up? Because why was it all that time?
After almost an hour of transmission, the sound stops.
Board got quiet, didn't it?
Before they re-enter radio contact with Earth, the astronauts discuss whether to report their experience to Mission Control.
We don't believe it. Nobody? Shall we tell them about it? I don't know. We ought to think about it.
The Apollo 10 sounds remain a mystery for decades, until another NASA probe uncovers a possible clue to their nature.
The Cassini spacecraft picked up broadcasts like this from Saturn.
These noises, some of them are really weird. They even sound, under some conditions, like strange alien speech.
For the sounds from Saturn, there is a scientific explanation.
These are positive charged particles moving through Saturn's magnetic environment.
Imagine being on the backside of the moon, all alone, away from the Earth, and hearing these kinds of sounds. I can understand how they could have been unnerved.
But the unsettling noises the Apollo 10 astronauts heard could not be caused by magnetic field.
The moon doesn't have an atmosphere or a magnetic field, so we wouldn't expect it to be making any transmissions that could be picked up on a radio.
Since the sounds can't be from the moon, NASA's radio technicians come up with their own theory.
The radios in the two spacecraft were interfering with each other. They were on VHF, and there was a bit of radio interference, and that was the source of the sound.
Sounds logical. I mean, you know.
Astronaut Al Warden doesn't agree.
I hear weird noises whenever my radios conflict.
The Apollo 10 crew is very used to the kind of noise that they should be hearing. Logic tells me that if there was something recorded on there, then there was something there.
Well, I don't know what the hell that was, babe.
The Apollo 10 astronauts never publicly discussed what they heard.
Of course not.
If you're an astronaut and you start hearing these strange sounds, what are you going to do? They were all absolutely petrified of being grounded if there was even the slightest question mark over their state of mind. So what do? They stayed silent.
To date, the origin of the noises mentioned in the Apollo 10 recordings remains a mystery.
I suspect there's a very, very clear cause of what they heard on Apollo 10, which maybe we haven't uncovered yet. I just think we don't understand it.
Yeah. Well, I would think that in a case like this, folks, now, yeah, remember now, being an astronaut working for NASA, being on the other side of the moon, hearing these strange noises from the radio, yeah, if you have two radios that conflict on, I could go to, let's say in here, I have 3 radios, at least 3. Stereo, the boom box, and this radio over here that I usually use as a monitor. Either one of these two. If I have my frequency on the air on here on 87.7, and I were to take another radio and put it on a frequency nearby, pretty much close to where I'm broadcasting, or if I take 2 radios and put it close to each other, the same station, a lot of times you'll hear a weird noise from the FM. They're kind of interacting with each other. Or, if I were to get another radio that I'm listening to or I'm monitoring, I have another radio flipping over to close to where I'm broadcasting, or if I would have 2 FM transmitters broadcasting on the same frequency, it would cause a humongous weird noise of some kind. I'm not sure it'd be a space noise, but it would sound kind of like really like they're conflicting with each other, the FM, because you're talking FM. And I realized that, and I never did understand how they could talk on the radio in space. I mean, airwaves, do they go up that far? Okay, I always wondered that, how do they communicate on radio in space? And they have a UHF frequency or VHF frequency. I know anybody has a ham radio or a ham operator can listen to the astronauts talking on there. They can listen to it. If they have, ham radio operators could do that. I was going to get into ham radio a number of years back. Never did. Just don't have the space where I'm broadcasting from. They have a ham set. But I guess if I were to, because if you know the frequency that they broadcast on, you can hear the astronauts talking. I've heard people say that. I guess if you really think about it, with FM, sometimes your 2 FM frequencies can't counteract. It sounds really weird when it does. It has a kind of a, you can tell it has a weird noise. Sometimes I hear weird noises coming out of my radio. If I leave my radio on an FM frequency, or when I cut my 87.7 signal off, I'll hear on the, when I'm off the air, when I cut my FM signal off here, when I'm done for my broadcast, I'll listen to the static that's coming over after I cut off my FM transmitter on 87.7, my 9-foot signal. And I'll hear the static on the FM on 87.7, which used to be the audio analog side for KWKC Channel 6. Channel 6 would use that frequency back in the analog days. Then when Channel 6 went off the air, that, of course, there was nothing on 87.7. So the signal, you had a blank signal, just static. And I could sit there while I'm trying to get things ready to go on the air here on my 9-foot signal, and I'll hear some of the noise coming through on the static. A kind of a, or it sounds like a high-pitched kind of a tone, but it fades in and out. Fades in and out. It's like that.